Hi, I'm Charles Starkey of Starkey & Company, and this is Bet on You, where we talk to people who have made the ultimate bet on themselves and started their own business in an attempt to see what we can learn from them. Today, I'm here with my friend Mitch Smedley of Smedley Plumbing, located in Blue Springs, Missouri. Mitch has been a plumber for 20 years, and in August of 2020 decided to take the plunge and start his own business. Now, Mitch is absolutely amazing. I always love talking to him because I learned so much from him. And to tell you what he has done, he has grown in just under a year from having himself to having 2 other plumbers and an office manager. I'm telling you, he is amazing, worth listening to and seeing what we can learn from him. Thank you, Mitch. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
So how are you doing today?
Doing great.
So let's go back to the very beginning. You obviously graduated high school, went to college and studied plumbing science, and then went to business school, right? Isn't that how it happened?
No.
So what happened?
I actually became a plumber by accident.
Okay.
I graduated college and thought I wanted to be an engineer. Or I didn't graduate college, I'm sorry. I graduated high school and thought I wanted to be an engineer, so I went to college. And after a year in college, I realized that college really wasn't for me. And I still didn't know what I wanted to do yet. And so I enlisted into the Navy, and that didn't work out too well. I had a medical event arise my 3rd day in basic training, which forced me to exit the Navy. And by the time I got back from all of that, it was too late to enroll into another semester of college. So a buddy of mine was working at a plumbing company, and he said, come work with us, we're busy, and next semester you can get back on it. And I've been a plumber ever since.
So 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
And then you decided to step out on your own. Why would you give up the comfort of working for somebody to take on the headache of being self-employed?
Well, for me, luckily I had a various round of experience with a couple of different plumbing companies doing a lot of different facets of plumbing. Residential new construction, to commercial new construction, to the service world and everything else. And plumbing came very natural to me. I just understand it at a pretty high level very easily. But the longer I did it and the more I worked myself into the management level of the companies I was at, I realized that my draw in this whole thing is not only just plumbing, but also people. And I realized that my mission in life is to have a big impact on as many people as possible. And so starting my own company allowed me to have a bigger impact on even more people than if I continued to work for somebody else.
Okay. So because we've talked about this, you were thinking about starting the business, and you developed business plans, and more than just, hey, I'm going to do plumbing and here's when I'm going to do it. What all did you do? What all did you plan out at that before you actually launched?
Yeah, a lot of plumbers get their start in business because they get mad at their boss one day and they storm out and they quit and they say, I'm going to do this on my own. And that works for some people, but they're starting out without a plan, they're starting out without a direction to go or anything, and so it can be a little intimidating. For me, I started writing business plans back in January of 2020, and was able to put together a really solid path for what the first couple of years of the business looked like, and where we would get our work, and how we would get our work, and what our pricing would look like, and what our vans would look like, and everything else.
That standardization, I was going to touch on this because we've talked about this, and you had every truck. Here's the way the truck is going to be set up.
Yeah.
On there.
Yeah, and so all of our trucks are built to the exact same. They have the exact same material in them. All the material is in the exact same position with the exact same quantities and everything. And that helps in a couple of ways. One is accounting, knowing what your inventory levels are and everything else. but it also helps if a truck breaks down and a guy needs to jump into a different truck for the day. He's not at a loss for where things are. And one of the failures that I see other guys do when they start a plumbing company or any in-home service company is they'll buy whatever truck they can find every time they need a truck. And one time they might buy a van, and the next time they might buy a box truck, and the next time they might buy a pickup truck, and then they're scratching their heads trying to figure out how do we get our inventory in it. And so for us, we use a Ford Transit, and it's the exact same length on all of them, and so our shelving works and everything else, and it just blends in nicely.
And it doesn't matter where you buy it from.
Right.
I understand you bought one out of state.
Yeah, Ford Transit right now, because Amazon is booming so well, Ford Transits are kind of hard to come by. And the first one I bought 1.5 miles away from my house. The second one, I had to fly to Cleveland to buy it, and it was the only one in the nation I could find that fit the bill that we needed. And then the third one, ironically, was only 20 miles from my house. So.
And on the third one, you sent me a text and said, hey, what would you say if I bought a third truck? And what did I tell you? That I know you're going to grow into it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Don't be afraid to buy it if you're going to use it and build into it.
Yeah, we had bought truck number 3 before we hired plumber number 2. And within 2 months, both of them were completed and constructed and filled, and they're on the road.
So you talked about reaching people and helping people, and you've got employees. Mm-hmm. So how does that play it together?
It's exciting, and this is, I talk with my wife about this quite a bit, how this is kind of the whole reason we did all this, and we went through a whole year of just me working 7 days a week, is because now we're to the level where we're having a bigger impact on people. Obviously, we're impacting our customers' lives, but being able to impact an employee's life and create a culture that they like going to work and they don't dread Monday mornings, and they're just as excited on a Monday as they are on a Friday is key.
Before we got started, you made a comment to me about who your customers are, because you're the owner. Mm-hmm. Can you tell?
Yeah, I view, as the owner, I view my customers as my team. Mm-hmm. And the customers of the business are the team's customers. And so it's my job to take care of my customers and treat my customers the way I want them to take care of the business's customers. And so pretty much every decision we make has to do with how is it going to affect our customers, and that means our team. And then if it affects them well, then the next layer is how does it affect the business's customers.
And so you try to take care of your customers, your employees, mm-hmm. and one of those are financial, not all just straight salary.
Right.
But, and here's this great quote that a wise man once told me, and that is, he doesn't mind paying his employees boatloads because they're bringing in cargo ships full of money. Do you know who said that?
I think I told you that.
So this gets into, you're taking care of your employees, but then the pricing side of it also.
Yeah, so we've set up our payment structure to our guys. Our compensation structure mm-hmm. is a pay per performance plan, so that the more they perform, the more money they make. And it works out really, really well because it eliminates the stigma that comes with the number of years they've been a plumber. Mm-hmm. We see this all throughout the trades industry, where you'll have a guy who says, I've got 20 years of experience and he wants to be paid top wages. However, he doesn't perform very well. And then you've got a newer guy that may only have 4 or 5 years of experience, but he's on point, attendance is perfect, and he's on time, and he speaks really well, and he actually brings more to the business than the 20-year guy. And so the way our pay plan works is it will pay them each equally in relationship to what they're bringing into the business. And so really sky's the limit on what you can make when you're doing it that way.
And it means that unlike a lot of people who start their business, you didn't start off just trying to undercut the market on pricing. Right. You knew what to charge.
Yeah.
And knew who your clients were and what you wanted, and realized not everybody was going to be your client.
Yeah. We, thankfully, with the years of experience that I have at a couple of different companies, I had a really good grasp on what the going rate is for plumbing and what a high rate is and what a cheap rate is, and couple that with the experience that you get with customers at those different pricing levels. And you'll find that a $100 customer is 2 or 3 times the headaches as a $1,000 customer. And so we chase the customers in that price bracket that are less headaches for us. And it doesn't mean we're in it to reduce the headaches. If it's less headaches for us, that means we're delivering a better product to them. And that comes off as the level of service they've received.
And it's something I try to emphasize with new business owners. You have to make a profit. You have to charge what you're worth on there, not just go get anybody that'll pay you something.
Right. We run into that a lot where sometimes we land in a customer's house that's more of the $100 customer variety, and we stick to our guns and stick to our pricing, and they'll either make a decision to shop with us or ask us to leave and find somebody else. And sometimes they'll boomerang back, but other times we just recognize right then and there that they're just not our customer. And they don't really have anything bad to say about us or anything else. It's not like our pricing is set to a point where we're ripping them off. It was just a little bit out of their expectations is all.